Today we were estimating, and we're estimating products by rounding our factors to the nearest or the closest place value, or the largest place value. In this case, 697. We know it's between, the question is it 600 to 700? And it's closer to 700. 82, we're rounding to the tens, so is it closer to 80 or 90? And it's going to be closer to 80. What that allows us to do is we know now that when we decode, we're basically just taking the zeros out. So we're going to go to the place value way of doing it, and we're going to go basic math facts of 7 times 8, which is 56, and then we have our 3 zeros we have to put back in there. So we know our estimate is approximately 56,000. The second one, this one we have the place values in the thousands, so the question is 5,000 or 6,000, and this one would be close to 6,000. 67 is either 60 or 70, and it's going to be closer to 70. 7 times 6 is 42, and we have 4 zeros, because 1,000 times 10 would be 10,000, which is 4 zeros. And we end with 420,000. So our reasonable estimate would be 420,000. Now we're doing pretty much the same thing, except we're just doing it horizontally. So we're taking this one, and it's 82,000, so we're between 80 and 90. This is closer to 80,000 times 240. It's either 200 or 300, and it's closer to 200. So we know 8 times 2 is 16, and we have 4 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. So we end up with 1,600,000. On C, it's either 9,000 or 10,000, so we're rounding closer, so it'd be 10,000 times 39. It's either 30 or 40, so it's closer to 40. 1 times 4 is 4, and we have 5 zeros. 400,000. Now D, we're using unit form. We're still going to round, but we're going to keep it uniform. So it's either 90 tens or 100 tens. And this would be closer to 100 tens. Times 36 tens is either 30 or 40, and it's closer to 40 tens. 1 times 4 is 4, and you can see I have 3 zeros. So that's 4,000, but we have tens times tens, which is going to be hundreds. So we end up with 4,000 hundreds. Our last one, 893 hundreds. That's going to be closer to 900 hundreds. Times 85 tens is going to be closer to 90 tens. And we know 9 times 9 is 81, and we have 2 3 zeros. And then we have hundreds times tens, which is thousands. So we've done the same thing, as we're just using the unit form. Next one says the estimated power to a multiplication problem is 800,000. Which of the following expressions could result in that answer? Well, let's see which ones. This one would be 8,000 times 10, which we know that would be 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So that would only be 80,000. So it would be the first one. The second one we see that's close to 80,000 times 100. 1 times 8 is 8, and we have 4 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. So that was 8 million. So it's not the second one. The third one, we have 8,000 again times 100. 8 times 1 is 8, and we have 5 zeros. And we can see this one's a good one, but let's check the last one. We have 80,000 times 1,000. 1 times 8 is 8, and we have 4 7 zeros. So the only answer would have been the third one. On 4, it says fill in the blank with a missing estimate. On this one, we're actually going to go ahead and round. And we know it's either 700 or 800. This one would be 800. The second one is 30 or 40. It's going to be 30. And we can check it now because 8 times 3 is 24. And we have 3 zeros. The second one, we know this would be close to 600. And the second one, since it's 674, would be closer to 700. Let's check it. 6 times 7 is 42. And we have 4 zeros. And the last one is close to 8,000. And the second one is close to 500. So 8 times 5 is 40. And we have 3 5 zeros. Question 6. Raphael wants to buy a new car. He needs a down payment of $3,000. If he saves $340 each month, about how many months will it take him to save the down payment? Okay, so let's go ahead and do a tape diagram first and see. Now, according to this, it says that he needs $3,000, so that's our total. I'll write it up here, $3,000. Now, he says he wants to save $340 a month. And they want to know how many months. So I know that basically what we're looking for here, two different ways I could do it, but we've been dealing with multiplication, so we're going to stay with that. We know that 340 times something equals 3,000. So if I round 340, that'd be closer to 300 times, and I can see 10 times 300 would be 3,000. So he would need approximately 10 months to save up that money. On B, his new car payment will be $288 each month for 5 years. What is the total of these payments? Now, there's two ways of doing this. The first one, if I take 288 times 12, then I'm going to take that, because that would give me 1 year, and then I'd have to multiply that by 5. So when we estimate that, 288 would be closer to 300, 12 would be closer to 10, which gives us 3,000. Then we want to know for 5 years, and we end up with 15,000. Now that's one way to do it. Now let's think of the other way, 5 years. We know 12 months is in 1 year, so 5 years would be 60 months. So I could take 288 times 60 months, which would equal 300 when I rounded it, times 60, which would equal 18,000. Both these are appropriate estimates. It just depends on which way you went about working it out. This one, first one, we solved for how much per year first and multiplied by years. On the second one, right here, we knew how many months were in 5 years, and we multiplied that by the 288.